True Stories from American Horror Story, Part 7.
Alright.
In the first episode, we're introduced to Kit Walker and his wife Alma, who goes missing after a powerful, loud noise and blinding light consumed their entire house. Later, we learn that Alma was actually abducted by aliens.
What the?
This story is based on the abduction of Betty and Barney Hill. In September of 1961, Betty and Barney were driving home, and they noticed an extremely bright light in the sky, which they first believed was just a falling star. But as they kept driving, this light became brighter and closer. Before they knew it...
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully, you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, man. We scour the internet, man. We look for creepy, weird, and unusual videos, man. From TikTok videos to IG videos, Facebook... anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, hitting that like button, man. You're really pushing us in the algorithm. I really appreciate your support, man. So continue to do that, man. We're going to continue to grow. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Let's seek the truth.
Case. I will never forget my friend Emily telling me I should listen to this little podcast called Crime Junkie.
Okay.
In one of the episodes, they discuss the crazy disappearance of Amy Lynn Bradley. Let me tell you about it. I also didn't realize this. I'm recording this on March 24th, which is the 23rd anniversary of her disappearance.
Eerie.
March 1st, 1998, the Bradley family took a week-long cruise ship vacation together. They were having a blast. Everything was going really well. In the early hours of March 24th, Amy was hanging out, drinking, having a good time. She was hanging out with the cruise ship band Blue Orchid. According to one of the band members, commonly known as Yellow, said that the two split ways around 1 a.m. Just a little after 5 a.m., Ron, her father, found her sleeping on the cabin balcony but didn't wake her. And then around 6 a.m. when he went to check on her again, she was not there. The family immediately started to panic because Amy wouldn't go anywhere without telling anybody.
The hell? Okay, so we got some from the story so far. She was hanging out with the band members. She was having a good time. But then at 6, when they came back to her cabin, she was just gone. That's one of the most scariest things, man. Just to think about it. You can be here 1 second, gone the next, man. That's how you always have to be aware. Check behind corners whenever you're going somewhere. If you're out, make sure nobody looking at you strange, because they might have some weird ideas.
Despite the Bradley family not knowing where Amy was and reporting her missing, the cruise ship docked in Curacao and continued to let everybody off the boat and continue their vacation.
What?
So there really wasn't a thorough search done until too late, honestly. Of course, if people go missing on a cruise ship, the first thing that everybody assumes is they went overboard. Amy, though, was a lifeguard. People thought maybe she drank too much and slipped off of the balcony. Emily wanted everybody to know, though, that Amy packed 10 pairs of shoes. After she went missing, all 10 shoes were still there. So if she left without shoes. There was an extensive search for her, but it did end on March 29th. One key detail before she went missing is very strange and worth mentioning. Amy noticed that during some of their family dinners, like they're dressed up for here, the waitstaff was very nice to her, very flirty, to where she kind of felt uncomfortable and vocally said this. After she went missing, though, they noticed that all of these types of photos taken of Amy were actually missing. It's unclear who took them, but it is assumed that it was the ship crew. Despite us thinking that her
Whoa. So that puts more into perspective now. Like, maybe there is one of the crew members, they got mad, or because she kept turning down their advances because she said they was getting flirty. It's like, there's always that one worker at work, man. Instead of being at work doing your job, man, it was trying to flirt with the customer or something like that, or somebody who's just there. You ain't even focusing on your job, man. You too busy flirting. It's like people like that, they can't take no for an answer, man. They just can't handle rejection. No means no.
Father Ron was the last person to see her. Amy's brother was claiming that he was the last person to see her, and says that Amy told him she was going to get cigarettes. The brother told the family this, however, the parents wanted to check the ship first. So it's possible she did get off, could buy cigarettes, got left. Something could have happened, anything could have happened. After the search on the ship had ended, the vacation had ended, there were a lot of sightings of people that could have been Amy. Some tourists allegedly saw her in Curacao. She was laying on the beach and they thought that this was her based on her matching tattoos. All 4 of them and her navel ring matched Amy's. However, not much more could be done. Also in 1999, a member of the United States Navy apparently saw a woman that looked similar to Amy in a brothel. However, he didn't say anything about this until later in fear of getting in trouble for being in a brothel. So if it was her, there was a missed opportunity to investigate it further. In 2005 in Barbados, there was also a possible sign of her as well, with 3 strange men. It was a composite sketch drawn of the 3 men and the person who looked like Amy.
So many theories.
The woman in the bathroom confronted supposed Amy, and supposed Amy said that her name was Amy and she was from Virginia, which is accurate to Amy Bradley. They were not able to track down who this was or the 3 men. And in an alarming turn of events, a group that searches for people who have been human trafficked found this photo and emailed it to the Bradley family. It looks a lot like her if you ask me. There's even this mock-up here that shows you identical jewelry, similar face, just more makeup. But they of course couldn't really track where this photo had came from. Somebody in the human trafficking ring had posted this. And then unfortunately this case just takes a very sad turn after this. Somebody had approached the Bradley family saying that they were an ex-Navy SEAL and they knew of her whereabouts. He just needed a little bit of money to get there. The Bradley family sent him over $200,000 for him to get help and get the daughter.
No way.
However, it was all a scam. I wasn't sure of the time.
Man, this case is going through freaking twists and turns. Seems like the worst had happened, man. Then someone has come along saying they have the location, and then they scam the family out of $200,000. Like, how can people even do that, man? They're already going through something, man, tragic, and you coming along looking for some money. Oh, this is my perfect time to exploit them. What be going through people's mind seekers? I truly don't get it.
Timeline to this or when exactly this happened.
Really?
But in Aruba, a human jawbone actually washed up on shore. This was actually tested for Natalie Holloway, who also vanished in Aruba. Fortunately, though, it was not tested for Amy or any of the other women who had vanished in the Caribbean.
What
This truly is a devastating case. I don't know what happened to her, but if I had to make a theory, I assume it's her on the bed in that photo. It just really looks like her, and it's absolutely horrifying and breaks my heart. Comment and tell me what you think happened to Amy Lynn Bradley.
I need y'all theories down below. What do you guys think happened?
True Stories from American Horror Story, Part 7.
Alright.
In the first episode, we're introduced to Kit Walker and his wife Alma, who goes missing after a powerful, loud noise and blinding light consumed their entire house. Later, we learn that Alma was actually abducted by aliens.
What the?
This story is based on the abduction of Betty and Barney Hill. In September of 1961, Betty and Barney were driving home, and they noticed an extremely bright light in the sky, which they first believed was just a falling star. But as they kept driving, this light became brighter and closer. Before they knew it, the couple claimed a pancake-shaped craft was hovering over their car. Barney claimed to have seen anywhere from 8 to 11 what he called humanoid figures staring at them from the window.
No way.
The next morning, the Hills tried their best to remember exactly what happened the night before. However, they said they couldn't remember much after hearing a series of rhythmic buzzing and beeping sounds. This case became the U.S.'s first publicized alien abduction.
Wow, so they really publicized an alien abduction, man. I'm going to have to look at that list, Seekers. Maybe try to find a couple more clips for y'all and put them in the next video. And it's an American Horror Story, man. That's the second time, bro. Like, I heard a story about that. It's based off a true story, man. I'm telling you, the media we're consuming, they all be saying it's based on, like, fiction or something like that. No, like, it's based on something, man. There's always a backstory to these stories we're watching on TV. Just keep that in mind, man, when we're watching these movies and shows. They don't want us to know the truth, man.
This man captured this sonar image, which supposedly is the Loch Ness Monster. The object was around 33 foot long, and if that's not enough, he caught it again on sonar just weeks later, leaving experts stunned. Excited by the finding, leading sonar expert Craig Wallace said he's willing to come to Loch Ness with more sophisticated sonar equipment and try to find whatever it is that's hiding down there.
We believe in the Loch Ness Monster, Seekers. There's been a lot of cases, man, that debunked. But you say you found some on the sonar readings, and it looked kind of legit to me, man. They got an expert going out there too. We're going to have to follow up on that one.
The most murderous woman in history is Queen Rana Valona, also known as the Mad Queen of Madagascar. She poisoned her husband to take the throne, then eliminated political rivals, and she just killed anyone she didn't like.
Damn.
Her favorite methods included boiling, burning, and burying people alive,
Oh,
or
she crazy.
hanging people off cliffs by ropes and then allowing the ropes to slowly break.
Yeah, she crazy.
Additionally, with regular warfare, cultural preservation against foreigners, and difficult forced labor, she reduced Madagascar's population by millions. And she got to live until she was 83, even taking out a few more people at her funeral when a barrel full of gunpowder mysteriously exploded. The hungriest man in history lived in 18th century France. Terrari reportedly had a huge stretched out mouth and tons of excess skin around his stomach that expanded when he ate. He was always hungry but never put on weight despite eating constantly. He would consume live animals, lots of trash, and it's rumored humans. The army even tried to use his ability to eat anything by making him eat a box with a secret document inside to transport, but he sucked at being a spy and was quickly captured by the enemies. Eventually, when he died, an autopsy showed that his organs were deformed and that his stomach took up nearly all of his abdominal cavity.
One night, a cop was driving along a long stretch of highway in Canada, infamously known as the Highway of Tears. The cop spotted a truck pulling out of an old abandoned logging road at a late hour of the night, driving suspiciously. The cop just had a bad feeling, so he pulled the truck over to find what looked like if the failed love child of a third Paul brother and He-Man worked at a gas station. 20-year-old Cody Ledjabokov. Cody was in shorts and a t-shirt, he had blood on him, and when they searched his vehicle, they found some bloody tools and a backpack with the identification of a young girl inside. When they were like, hey, what's up with all the blood? He was just like, I just got done clubbing a deer to death, saying, quote, I'm a redneck, that's what we do for fun. The officer arrested him for poaching, but still knew something wasn't adding the up. You don't just get kids named Cody roaming around in the middle of the winter in shorts and a t-shirt covered in blood on the Highway of Tears in the middle of the night. So the cop decided to venture up the old logging path looking for this deer. Instead, he would discover a trail of blood leading to the body of 15-year-old Lauren Leslie. After he was arrested and interrogated, they linked him through DNA to 3 more unsolved murders, making him Canada's youngest serial killer.
Damn.
Hi, I'm Cam, and this Jeffrey Dahmer obsessed fan took it way too far. On June 20th, 2020, 19-year-old Chance Seneca met up with 18-year-old Holden White after they had been talking through Grindr for over a month. When the two finally met, Holden said it scarred him for life. Holden said everything was fine until Chance left the room, returned, and started choking him with a cord. Holden was choked by Chance until every blood vessel in his face ruptured. He lost his vision and then his consciousness. And I want to give a warning because this is about to get very graphic. Holden woke up in Chance's bathtub to him slicing open his left wrist. He was naked, soaked in his own blood, and on the verge of death. He repeated to himself, stay calm, thinking it was the end. Holden was in a coma for 3 days. On that 3rd day, he saw a light, and he went towards it. He woke up with a breathing tube down his throat, wrapped in bandages all over. Holden had suffered 6 stab wounds to the neck, blunt force trauma to his head, and deep cuts in his wrist. Chance had called the police thinking he had murdered Holden. What's even more disturbing is Chance has tried to kidnap and dismember 2 other gay men. He planned on using
their bodies as trophies? Man. Well, when somebody gets deep into that, and they ain't infatuated with a person, man, they trying to recreate, especially a person like Jeffrey Dahmer, they try to recreate what he did. You already know that's a damn red flag. It's crazy, man. People just be trying to go on, they just trying to meet up or something. That's why I say you gotta be careful, man. When you meet up with people, you always gotta do it in the public area or something like that, because cases like this happen. Because they infatuated with that person. They think that they can become by doing what they did. Man. It's actually crazy. YouTube, that's it, man, for this video for you guys today, man. Like I said, if you guys made it with me to the end, you're a real one seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that post notification bell, man, hit that like button, man, like we can grow together, we can grow this community out. Hopefully you guys like my new reactor style, man. Like I said, I've been seeing the comments, you guys really enjoying it. Pausing way less, I'm just letting the videos play through. And I'm trying to, I'm talking way less, and I'm letting the videos play through, man. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I'm going to continue to do my daily uploads. Guys, I'm catching the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, man, what we do is we break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG Reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man. You're helping us grow the community known as the Seekers. So I really appreciate the support. Let's do that. Let's continue to grow. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best out here. Let's seek the truth.
Why you should never go camping without a weapon.
Okay.
19-year-old Olga Moskalivyova was camping near a river in Russia with her stepfather Igor when a mother bear attacked them. Seconds later, the 500-pound brown bear...
Things humans were never meant to see. A man was struck by lightning, and this is the amazing pattern that it left.
Whoa.
I bet you've never seen this before. This is how a clam walks. It
hell
sticks
is
out
that?
its body and pushes itself forward. This is what chairlifts looked like in the 60s. There was no safety bar, so you had to be careful not to move at all.
Nah.
This giant fiery pit looks like it's from another planet, but it actually exists here on Earth, and it has been burning for more than 60 years straight. This is what movie and TV shows look like after special effects are added, and this is what they look like before.
Here's some random facts
Crazy.
that mess with the way you see the world. Astronaut means star sailor. Astro meaning star and not meaning sailor. That is such a cool name. High heels were originally made for butchers so they wouldn't get blood on the bottom of their shoes. The first ever webcam was created to check on a coffee pot just to make sure it didn't catch on fire. In Switzerland, it's illegal to own just one guinea pig. You need at least 2 or more. I think it's because they get depressed if they're alone. I'm not even joking. Australia is wider than the moon. How does that work? The Eiffel Tower is taller in the summer. This is because metal expands when it gets hot, right? A jiffy is an actual unit of time. It's 1/1000th of a second. In Japan, there's over 200 flavors of Kit Kats.
No.
I didn't know that there were 200 flavors, period. Queen Elizabeth was a trained mechanic in the military. That's a baller move, though. Become a mechanic and then a queen. Do you know the only letter that doesn't appear in a U.S. state name? I'll give you 3 seconds. Ready? 3,
What is it?
2, 1. The letter Q. These are the most rare.
Whoa, what the heck? He's now he's spitting. There's nothing in Q that has the U.S. state something in that name. Or whatever he said, bro. That's crazy to think about, man. These facts, man. Y'all gotta tap in with us, man. We learn the new rare facts every day.
People to ever exist.
Up first is Samson Burns. He's had a genetic disease since birth, which makes him look a lot older than he is. And people who have this disease, their life expectancy is only 15 years. Samson Burns was known for his motivational speeches and his amazing fight with the disease. He lived until he was 17, which baffled people because the life expectancy for this disease was only 15 years.
Define the
Up
odds.
next is Paul Carrison. Paul Carrison was known worldwide for his bluish skin, which was caused by a disease which changes the color of the skin and the organs.
Whoa.
But he sadly passed away a few years ago for reasons unrelated to his illness.
What do you guys think happened? I need your theories down
Do
below.
you guys remember the case of Lacey Fletcher, the woman who melted into her couch? Well, the people responsible for this have been sentenced. But let me remind you guys a little bit about 36-year-old Lacey. In 2022, she was found deceased on her family's couch, and apparently she sat there for 12 years without moving. So how exactly does that happen? Well, Lacey had severe autism and she was nonverbal, so she solely depended on her parents as her caregiver. But after years of neglect, she weighed less than 100 pounds. She was found covered in maggots at her own waist. And again, this is how the couch looked like when they found Lacey deceased. Lacey's cause of death was acute medical neglect, and ultimately her parents, Sheila and Clay Fletcher, were each sentenced this month to 40 years, but will only be serving 20 years in prison. Now, what's outrageous is that her parents, who went from this to this, testified that their daughter refused any medical attention. How can someone who couldn't communicate and completely relied on them refuse medical attention? A 36-year-old weighing less than 100 pounds. Let that sink in. This tragedy could have been prevented. There is no excuse.
There isn't. It says she refused medical attention. Think. Use your brain. Think. She can communicate non-verbally. People have to be better,
Common
man.
things you never knew the real purpose of. part 7. First off, you know that drawer underneath your oven where most people put their pots and pans?
Yeah.
Well, the real reason that it's there is, for example, if you're having guests over and they're late, you can put your food in there and it'll keep it warm. If you've ever been confused on how much pasta you should cook for just yourself to eat, well, that hole in the middle of a spaghetti spoon isn't actually for draining water. It's for putting uncooked pasta through it so you get the perfect serving for one person. Have you ever wondered why there's a little button on your seatbelt? It's actually to stop the buckle from going past it, so it'll always be in the right spot when you go to buckle it up. Those little buttons on your jeans aren't totally useless. They're called rivets. Rivets are placed in areas on jeans that receive the most wear and tear stress, so they actually help you prevent your jeans from ripping apart at the seams. Many people think this dot on the back of an iPhone is for flash, but it's actually a microphone used for recording when using the back camera. The tags on bread packages come in 5 different colors, representing 5 of the 7 different days of the week. And here's what each one equates to. And the reason they don't have Wednesday or Sunday is because most shops don't get deliveries on these days. And the hole on the bottom of a lock isn't actually to pick it. It's meant to drain any captured liquid to prevent it from rusting.
Normal looking video.
Man. The thing about the bread one is interesting, man, because they've always had, sometimes I be saying, like, why do they have, like, different colors, the little tags that hold the bread together? So I'm guessing, I thought this was to show the freshness of it, but I guess it's just to organize it. The more you know, man. The more you know.
With disturbing backstories, part 1. In this home video on Thanksgiving Day 1990 is a father recording his son Jeffrey, who can be seen talking to his father and flipping through a magazine.
Well, I've been surviving mostly on McDonald's food. It's just so much easier just to pop into a restaurant. But yeah, like
don't tell me that's what I think it is.
Expensive and you have to start eating at home more.
But what nobody knew at the time is the man in the video, Jeffrey Dahmer, had already unalived 7 of his victims and later became one of the biggest serial killers in history.
Ooh. You never know who you talking to, man.
Crazy facts about things in our world. Mohammed is the most popular name worldwide. A teaspoon of a neutron star weighs 10 million tons.
Damn.
The Great Wall of China takes 18 months to walk.
That's
the
cap.
human body is made up of 60% water.
18 months to walk the Great Wall of China? I gotta look that up, man. I'm calling cap on that one. I don't believe that, man. That's cap. That's cap, bro. In the words of Soldier Boy, that's cap.
Alright guys, let's talk about Slenderman. Slenderman is a 7-foot tall humanoid creature that has no face and is known for kidnapping children and brainwashing older people into being his little servants. He's mainly found out in the woods and you'll rarely ever see him outside of the woods. He's also known to be around kids' playgrounds, lurking in the woods, just waiting for them. If one of them happens to wander off into the woods, he snatches them up and they're never seen again. What's very disturbing about Slenderman is he will target his victims for years and drive them to insanity with paranoia. One way to know if he's nearby is if your electronic devices are having malfunctions. For example, if your phone turns off randomly or if the radio station's giving a lot of static. Back to the stalking though, you can see him right here in the background waiting for those kids. Some of them are even around him, and you can see all of his other arms coming out from behind him. Usually when he grabs the victim, he will vanish with them very quickly and you'll find them impaled on a tree with all of their organs missing. And to this day, nobody knows what he truly does with his victims or the organs.
Isn't Slenderman based off the video game though, so... Like
imagine finding out that the pastor from your church did this. On August 1975, 8-year-old Gretchen Harrington was walking to Bible study in Pennsylvania, but she never made it. Gretchen's father became extremely worried when she was nowhere to be found. And that's when Pastor David Zantra called police to report Gretchen missing. When investigators interviewed the pastor, he was providing details of what Gretchen was wearing that day, even though she never made it to the church.
Weird.
So how did he know? The pastor denied knowing anything about Gretchen's disappearance, and 2 months later, her skeletal remains were found at a nearby creek. Gretchen's cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head. But 50 years later, on January of this year, police interviewed a woman who was friends with the pastor's daughter in the 70s and discovered something from her diary entry around that time. The little girl at the time explains in her diary that the pastor used to touch her when she slept over his daughter's house. The pastor, who is now 83 years old, moved to Georgia after Gretchen's murder. And when police came to arrest him, he admitted to everything. He said that on that morning of 1975, he saw Gretchen walking to Bible study, so he offered to give her a ride, but instead of taking her to the church, he took her to a wooded area and told her to take off her clothes, and when she said no, that's when he took her life.
Maybe he's a pastor too. That's just sick, man. These TikToks are exposing our reality wide open. But it took them like 50 years, and it goes to show you, man, justice will be served no matter the time. Maybe 1, 2, 3 years, 50 years, 60 years. It'll come out to get you, man, in the end. Karma's a real thing. Goes around, comes around.
This is maybe the scariest urban legend I've ever heard, and it ended up being true. Back in the 1970s, there was this terrifying fun house in Long Beach, California called the Laugh in the Dark. And there was always this urban legend that all the mannequins inside were fake, except for one. Also, mind you, this is what this week's episode is about, so if you don't want spoilers, just listen to the episode. This urban legend came to be because there was one mannequin inside that just looked wrong. All the other ones looked fake, but this one in particular looked way too human. And a bunch of the kids also said the area that the mannequin was in just smelled really, really bad.
No way, that's real.
So a few years go by, and one day a film crew comes in and is using Laugh in the Dark for a film set. The director's lining up a shot, and he just doesn't like the way this one mannequin looks in frame. So he goes over to a crew member, and he's like, hey, can you just move this out of the shot? So the crew member goes over and starts moving the mannequin when its arm pops off. And inside of the mannequin's arm is human gum.
What
the
the?
kids had been totally right. The mannequin was a mummified body. There's so much more to this story, like who the person was and how they got there, and I talk about the whole thing this week on the episode.
Scary facts
follow up on that
ruin
one.
your day. Do you ever wake up around 3 a.m. for no apparent reason?
Sometimes.
They say that if you wake up around 2 to 3 a.m. for no reason, that there's a 90% chance something was staring at you.
No way.
I was tagging this and people want to know if it's true or false. This is false, this is rubbish. But let me give you a fact, yeah? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said whoever wakes up at night, suddenly wakes up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, he should say this dua, La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. So all this dua here, you can do a screenshot so you can know what to say. You can say it in English or Arabic, yeah? Whoever does that, Allah will forgive his sins. And the Prophet ﷺ in another narration said, if he says this dua and does wudu and prays to Allah, Allah will accept his prayer. In other words, your dua is accepted, everything is accepted. Allah woke you up at that time for a reason. Allahu Akbar. Take opportunity of it.
Say a prayer when you wake up at 2, 3 in the morning?
Mysteries that still can't be explained. This is a lost Egyptian city found by divers in the early 2000s. They were able to retrieve giant statues and artifacts from it. But until this day, scientists have no idea how the city ended up in the middle of the ocean.
The Atlantis?
This is the plain of jars located in Laos. And like the name suggests, there's around a few thousand jars in the ground. Each of them are around 10 feet tall. And scientists have found no real purpose for it. What do you guys think they were used for?
Underground city, man? That sounds like Atlantis to me. Hey.
This 6-year-old boy was forced by his father to run on a treadmill, then he passed away. On April 2nd, 2021, 6-year-old Corey Mitchell was taken to the hospital by his father, 31-year-old Christopher Greger, after he began experiencing shortness of breath and nausea. Corey was immediately taken for a CT scan where he began having seizures and passed away shortly after. Then, disturbing surveillance footage from Christopher's apartment gym was found, which I'm going to warn you, it's really hard to watch. Corey is seen being forced by his father to run on this treadmill at a really high speed. Then you see Corey fall 6 times on his face, and Christopher picks him up by the shirt and puts him back on the treadmill. And then at one point, Christopher is also seen biting Corey's head. Almost 2 weeks after this incident, Corey passed away, and the autopsy showed that this little boy had various injuries on his chest, abdomen, heart, and liver, showing that he was being abused for some time. Corey's mother, who shared joint custody with Christopher, also reported the abuse more than 100 times in 18 months, but nothing was done. Then investigators found a handful of suspicious Google searches on Christopher's phone about bruises, his car being tracked, and being arrested. Christopher is currently being held without bond, and if convicted, he faces life in prison.
The mom was doing her job, reporting over 100 times, and nothing happened, man. The system is up and down. We need to find a healthy medium, man. That's just insane.
Let's talk about Jeff, the killer. By the way, this is a creepypasta. He was a 13-year-old boy who had just moved to a new town with his mother and father. And he was already being bullied a lot in horrible ways that I can't even say on this video. One day at a party, the bullying got a little too out of hand. They disfigured him, lighting him on fire and throwing bleach on his face. He woke up in the hospital with his head wrapped in bandages. His eyelids were burnt off. When he took off the bandages, he noticed his face was all leathery and pale. He started laughing uncontrollably, and doctors just played it off as, oh, maybe it's the medicine we gave him, making him a little loopy. He started saying he loved his new face, and he eventually carved a permanent smile in his mouth, because mentally he was broken. He was no longer that nice little 13-year-old boy. That's when he decided to get revenge on the bullies, taking them out one by one.
Sound like the Joker origin, bro. What the hell is that?
This watermelon's good. He even took his family's life. What did they do to you, bro? What did they do? Now it's stated that he comes after anyone who stays up late. This was the last photo someone took of him before he got them. This picture is supposedly cursed.
Leatherface, man. You believe in that? Gotta check that out.
Have you guys heard of the man who murdered his co-worker in the Walgreens break room? On June 11th, 2022, 28-year-old Joshua Johnson murdered his co-worker, 17-year-old Riley Whitelaw, in a Walgreens employee break room in Colorado. Riley was discovered in a pool of blood by her manager after she never returned from her break. Joshua attempted to make advances on Riley in the past, and she repeatedly told managers that he made her feel uncomfortable. Riley even asked her managers to change her work shift so she can avoid Joshua, but when she requested additional hours, she was made aware that overtime would mean that her and Joshua may cross paths. 3 months before her murder, Riley's boyfriend began working at the same Walgreens, which apparently made Joshua jealous. On the day that Riley was attacked, a customer heard a woman screaming and the sound of very loud slamming. Surveillance footage also caught Joshua stacking bins in front of the camera so that it could block the view before attacking Riley. He was then found by police walking on the street with scratches all over his body.
Crazy, man. Just because she was turning him down. People can't
If
take
you're
no.
alone right now, don't watch this video. In the winter of 2018, a man who was living alone in the mountains wakes up to find a red ball sitting on his front yard. He assumed the only neighbor he had must have kids, and so he kicks the ball over the fence, goes inside, doesn't think anything of it. That night, he wakes up to the sound of kids laughing outside of his window. He goes outside to check on them because it's the middle of the night, and there's no kids anywhere, but that red ball is back on his property. So he picks it up, brings it in his house, and goes back to bed. The next morning, he goes over to his neighbor's house to let them know that their kids were out in his yard in the middle of the night. But it turns out his neighbor is just some old man who lives alone, and there aren't any kids anywhere in the area. That night he wakes up again to the sound of kids on his property, and when he looks outside, there's no kids, but that red ball is back on his property. Panicked, he runs downstairs to make sure the one he brought in is still inside, and it's gone. He checked every window and door, and everything was still locked. It didn't make any sense. He decides to look out the window one more time, and off in the distance is some weird stiff figure watching him.
Haunting story, man. How the hell that red ball
These
leave?
are videos you can never watch at night. We all know how there's some videos where you just can't watch them at night because they're that scary. Well, in this series, I'll be showing you all of those videos. So be ready to get terrified.
Who are you? Let me in. Huh? Let me. What? What's wrong with you?
That's an edit.
What?
Well, I know I'm not sleeping after watching that video. This video has been going viral recently, and nobody knows the origins of it. It shows what appears to be a ghostly woman standing outside of some man's window at night. And she says something took her daughter and did this to her. But nobody knows what that is. The man who uploaded the video hasn't updated anybody on if he's seen her again. Or if he's okay, leaving people to worry about him. But I can't imagine looking out my window at night and seeing this.
If you're ever walking
Edit
and
on
you hear a
that
sound
one.
behind you, look up, for it might be the Gashadokuru. The Gashadokuru are skeleton giants who walk around in the middle of the night. If they see a human, they will quietly walk up behind them, bite off their head, and drink their spraying blood. Soldiers that die on the field and people that die of starvation usually do not have their final rites read. In Japanese culture, that means that their soul cannot pass on and they're reborn as a hungry ghost. When the bones of hundreds of those souls gather together, they become the skeleton monster known as Gashadokuru. If you're a fan of monsters, scary stories, and lore, please support this channel.
It looks like Attack on Titan. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the anime? The Titans?
This photo is of the Cincinnati crawler. It was taken by a family who caught him in their home in 1974, but he escaped shortly afterwards.
In a damn house?
The Johnson family in Cincinnati noticed a couple weird things happening in their home. The 14-year-old daughter, Claire, would complain about seeing glowing eyes outside of her window at night.
Mm-hmm.
And then one night, the youngest son, Timmy, was laying in bed in the dark when he felt the family dog jump up onto his bed.
Okay.
But when he went to go pet it, it was not the dog.
No way.
It was the crawler, who police still believe was responsible for the disappearance of 4 other boys in the area.
What the
Some believe that he was an escaped convict, while others actually believe that he was the victim of human experiments happening in the area that may have been conducted by the family's dad.
Say that again?
Claire snapped this photo of him before he escaped, but he was never found since.
Can you guys imagine, man? You at your house. You feel thinking it's your dog, but it's like a whole human being that's in your damn house, and you had no idea. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm packing my bags. We moving out the next day. Deuces. I ain't gonna lie. Sell the house. We out. I can't do that. My privacy's already been violated, man. A whole nother human being's in your house, and you had no idea. I can't do that, man. I'm out. What would you guys do, Seekers? We moving out the next day. Simple. No other option, man. I can't do that. I give me the heebie-jeebies, bro.
The darkest YouTube cults of all time. This cult is called Blood Over Intent, and this is how I snuck in. By the way, I'm going back to blonde hair. First, let's go over what happened.
What?
I began searching the internet for Discord servers that had this cult inside of them. Came across some small ones and joined, expecting nothing to happen. A couple hours later, I get a message from a grandmaster of cultists. He didn't ask me if I want to be a part of the cult or if I'm just investigating it. I then say looking to join somehow. He then continues to warn me about the dangers of blood magic. Here's where things become interesting.
Whoa.
He says blood over intent is a real thing. The problem with it is what it costs. By using your own blood, you agree to lose everything you care about. I was 9 years old when I did it my first and last time. What I cared most about were my pets. Not one of them survived. One even died from worms blowing out her belly. I then asked him if his spells have ever harmed humans. He then goes on to say, my spell at 9 years old decimated a family. This is definitely creepy, but like and follow, and I'm going to try and sneak into some more cults.
This homeless...
There's some damn TikTok cults going on. I never even knew that was a thing. I mean, not TikTok, Discord. I know Discord, you can go down a dark rabbit hole, but I didn't think it could be that dark. That's actually insane, man. And he went undercover.
Previously owned by Britney Spears.
He's brave.
On a recent podcast called We Need to Talk About Britney, Britney's former makeup artist joined the conversation. She said that while Britney was living in this home, she had some type of spiritual transformation, and she invited someone over who claimed to be a spiritual healer. But after the healer left, something didn't feel right to her. Britney said she thought the healer had opened some type of portal, and she claimed that there were evil spirits in her house trying to push her down the stairs. The situation must have scared her pretty badly, because she left the home immediately when it happened and never returned. She then sold the house with everything inside to Brittany Murphy. And as many of you probably already know, Brittany Murphy died in that house under very suspicious circumstances. And her husband died 5 months after her in the same room that Brittany died in. Take a listen.
It was so bad that she left. She went to the Casa Del Mar Hotel to stay there and never went back to the house again. She put her house on the market, and guess who bought that house? Who? And died in it. Brittany Murphy.
She definitely was feeling some of that energy.
This is a photo of Mike Tyson
crazy.
shaking hands with Dale Hausner, a known serial killer in Phoenix, Arizona who killed 8 people.
What?
Mike Tyson did not know that at the time. He thought he was a sports writer. Police then showed up to Mike's gym and let him know you just shook hands with a serial killer. Mike Tyson had literally no idea. The murders Hausner committed happened from May 2005 all the way up to August 2006. They were described as playing real-life Grand Theft Auto. They would shoot at random pedestrians just walking by and animals, and they would also just set random things on fire and burn it down.
What the
This man committed 80 felonies. I think there are only like 88 possible felonies you can get. This dude almost hit 100% completion.
Racking them up.
Now this photo behind me was taken just a few days before Hausner was caught. Then when Mike Tyson was interviewed by the police about Hauser, he was like, yeah, seems like a nice guy, smaller stature, completely oblivious to the fact that he murdered 8 people. Super scary to think that people were just walking randomly in the street and getting shot by this guy right here. Glad that's over. Glad he's caught. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
Man, real life is not GTA. You just can't go down walking down the street and just take random people out. What's the damn world come to, man? That's actually insane. If it was GTA, man, you would have freaking 5 stars on, bro. That's a crazy ass story. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, man. Also, hit that post notification bell, man, so we can get this algorithm, we can grow. Also, man, follow me on my social medias down below, man. Trying to get my numbers up there as well. We can connect together and grow our community, and that's how you can stay in contact with me. So follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, Snapchat, all the socials will be down below. Tell me, man, like I said, you guys are liking my new reacting style, man. Also, tell me what I can do to make these videos better for you guys. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully, you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary, creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG Reels, Facebook, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank the supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, hitting that subscribe button, man, hitting that post notification bell, man. You're helping us grow in the algorithm, man, helping us find other seekers. I really appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today, man. So let's take a look. Let's explore. Let's do what we do best, man. Seek the truth.
I teach you 4 ways that you can hack your body.
Okay.
Number 1, if your arms ever fall asleep, just shake your head like this and it will go away like nothing. Number 2, if you really have to go to the bathroom but there's no place to go, just scratch the back of your calf as hard as you can. This will actually stall your brain and you will forget you ever had to go.
Whoa.
Number 3, if you ever have trouble falling asleep, just blink your eyes as fast as you can for 1 minute. This will tire out your eyes and make it easier for you to fall asleep. Number 4, if you ever want to activate night vision, go on your phone in a dark room and cover your eye for 30 seconds. Then look around and enjoy being Superman.
People are freaking out after 9 pillars of light were seen in the sky above a coastal town in Japan recently. And it wasn't just one picture. These 9 lights were seen from multiple different angles. So, what the hell is that? Well, the man who originally posted the photos said that it's actually a rare natural phenomenon called fishing firelight pillars. And he said that it's caused by powerful lights placed on fishing boats to attract larger catches. As temperatures cool overnight, crystals sometimes form in the air, and then the boat's lights reflect off of the crystals, creating this. So it just as simple as aliens, is it?
This man followed a teen and her grandmother who were on a trail, and then he took their lives. In 2021, a 17-year-old Hera and her grandmother, 78-year-old Sanetta, were found deceased in their home in Largo, Florida. Earlier that day, Hera and her grandmother went on a walk on the Pinellas Trail not too far from their house. On their way home, 19-year-old Sage Curry followed them to their house. He waited for the sun to go down before entering their home through the bedroom window. Sage then went into the kitchen and looked for the sharpest knife he could find and used that to attack the grandmother as she slept. Hera ran into the room after hearing her grandmother scream, and she was also stabbed to death. What's insane is that there was no relationship between the victims and Sage. He literally did this for absolutely no reason. His family said that his mental health declined after his 18th birthday and he became delusional, so much that he couldn't tell fiction from reality and believe that TV shows he watched were real. While he sat in jail, he got this moon tattooed on his forehead, which referenced a TV show character who had DID. Sage also got one of the victims' names tattooed on his ankle. In court, he really tried to use the insanity defense, but that was rejected. Sage was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Just sense this. Seekers, man, we believe in vampires. They had some gear. the mummified vampire face. I don't know if that's edited or something like that, but looks pretty kind of legit to me. Vampires. That's what about if we get top fears, man? Hate vampires. They just weird me out. Should we deep dive into that one? Who knows?
Disturbing facts that will ruin your life. When whales reach a certain age, they will eventually be too weak to swim back to the surface for air, so they will just suffocate to death and eventually sink to the bottom of the ocean.
Whoa.
When you die, you will be aware that you were dead until the moment your brain fully ceases function. When getting laser eye surgery, you can smell the parts of your eyes being shaved down. During the French Revolution, where the guillotine was introduced, the people to be executed fought to be first, as the blade would dull after multiple uses, and wouldn't cut a head clean off at the first attempt. If you're male, after you die, your loved ones can have a doctor electrocute your prostate to force you to ejaculate for sperm. Humans have enough bite power to bite off their own finger, bone and all. The only thing stopping us is our brain's natural safety factor. A deceased human body can take between 24 to 48 hours to decompress, releasing the remaining blood, urine, and fecal matter, depending on the situation, position, and method of death. If you die on a submarine, they put your body in the fridge with all the food. If not, up a torpedo tube. It's actually common that corpses will periodically burp, fart, gasp, groan as gases escape to the mouth and anus. When you get burned by electricity, it actually leaves marks shaped like lightning on your skin. Hit the plus sign if you want to learn more facts.
The more you know. I learned some new information today. Definitely. It's crazy, especially about that one when you're on the submarine. Don't eat the food or the sub. You don't know where it's been at. We getting some quick cases, they ain't even coming up.
Tips that could save your life one day. When you go into a bathroom or changing room, make sure no one's looking at you using a two-way mirror.
Whoa.
A two-way mirror means that someone on the other side could be looking at you. But there's an easy way to tell the difference. Put your finger on the surface of the mirror. If there's a gap between your finger and its reflection, then you're safe. But if there isn't, then it's a two-way mirror. If you're in an emergency and need to get to one floor straight away without any stops in an elevator, here's what to do. Press the closed door button and the floor you want to go to. Keep holding them down until you reach that floor. This will bypass any stops, and it's often used by emergency services. What if you're driving a car and suddenly you fall into water? You won't be able to open your car's door because of the water pressure closing it shut. You actually need to roll down your window. This will allow some water to go into the car. The pressure will then equalize and the doors will open automatically and you can swim out.
I never knew about the elevator
There
fact.
used to be a nearly 20-foot bulletproof serial killer whose victims included humans and hippos. Gustav was a Nile crocodile from Burundi, and scientists estimated that he was over 18 feet long and weighed well over 2,000 pounds. And with a bite force of 3,700 pounds, getting attacked by him was like getting assaulted by a sledgehammer with teeth. Because Gustav was too big to hunt the usual victims like zebra and antelope, he instead put wildebeest and yes, even hippos on t-shirts. He also likely resorted to cannibalism if he was ever low on groceries. And he didn't stop there, because this overgrown Bundy gecko allegedly had a body count of about 300 people. And apparently Gustav would tear his victim to pieces and not even eat the mutilated corpse. Bro was real life stat padding. And wouldn't you know, the bastard was bulletproof, since one of Gustav's defining traits was that he had 3 bullet scars on his body. But the scariest thing about him is how he would have gone about taking your life. Like all crocodiles and alligators, Gustav would have slowly creeped on you in the water with only his eyes visible. The rest of his body would be hidden in the murky water. Then he would have slammed his jaws on you with the force of a car, strong enough to tear muscle and break bone, and at this point you'd be 50 shades of with about 60 teeth buried into your flesh. 2,000-pound Gustav would have dragged you underwater and death rolled you, and how long you lived would depend on where he got you. If he managed to get a hold of your arm, he would have effectively ripped it right out of the socket. If he got your midsection, he would have disemboweled you, meaning if you didn't straight up drown, you would have bled out. If you messed around and let him grab your neck, he would have barrel rolled your head off. Remember how I said he turned 300 people into hashtags? Considering how violently crocodiles kill their prey, it could be more, we just haven't found the bodies yet. Scientist Patrice Fay spent months trying to capture him, but somehow a nearly 20-foot assault weapon managed to avoid them every time. Gustav allegedly died in 2019, but we don't know how, why, or who did it, and we don't know how many lives he took with him.
That's a damn dinosaur. That ain't no crocodile. It's crazy how they can grow to that size. I saw another one on Twitter, and it was even like bigger than that one. What's going on in nature, man? Something going on.
Oh, you're so traumatized, it makes me want to...
What haunted?
Things that are way bigger than you think, part 3.
This is a human hand compared to an eagle's talon. To put that into perspective, they can probably pawn the whole face. This is what the world's tallest man ever would look like standing next to Shaq. Shaq is 7 feet 2 inches tall, and the world's tallest man ever was 8 feet 11. That red line is where the average American would be. Moose are a lot bigger than you think. Some of them can grow to be almost 8 feet tall off the ground. And finally, this is how big a traffic light is. I don't know what you're gonna do with this knowledge, but if you learn something, leave a like and maybe even a follow.
It really goes to show you, man, how I guess proportions really work, or how distance really affects us, man. Cause especially about the red, you know, the red, white, yellow, the red, yellow, and green stoplight. So looking at it from afar, you would think that it's actually small, but go close, it takes up like half our size, man. Goes to show you about how distance, how it changes things. I just find that interesting.
The video I'm about to show you is a reason why you should never go camping.
Yo, what the fuck is that? Oh, what's... Run!
Oh, hell no.
Guys, wait!
What the Oh, he out.
What do you think that is? Do you believe that it's a skinwalker? Or maybe it's the rake? Let me know in the comments below. Also, check me out on YouTube for more spooky crap. Link in bio.
What's the rake?
Let's talk about skinwalkers. They are said to be powerful witches and medicine men. They can even change their form to any animal they desire, including humans. But they mainly change into deer, wolves, and coyotes. The scary part is they say if you see one, they can steal your face and even your last scream for help. You might think this is like a folklore or tale. People actually believe these are real. The scary part is there's actual videos of people seeing oddly walking humans screaming help in the middle of nowhere.
Oh.
See, they say skinwalkers pretend to be humans in distress, and if they're calling out for help, they're just trying to lure you in. That's when they take your life and use your voice and your look to catch their next gullible victim. A man's wife wasn't even home, but yet somebody was calling him to come downstairs in his wife's voice.
Oh, no, I'm out that house. Deuces. We out. I can't lay there no more. Not an option.
If you want me to go out in the middle of the field, at least shapeshift to look like Rihanna or Beyonce. I'm making a mess, but this look good. I'll be there in a minute. 30 seconds flat. Naked. Very naked. Maybe even Lizzo. Let's light this candle.
Most disturbing websites in the world. This picture contains a list of disturbing websites from the least scary to the most. View at your own risk. Today we're going to be starting from tier 4 since the other ones I posted got removed. The first website is theblackvault.com. This website contains 2 million unreleased documents from the government. The creepiest part about it is there's an entire section dedicated to the supernatural. For example, while I was browsing, I found an article related to skinwalkers. And many people who posted this photo mysteriously had their post taken down. Another website is called kekma.net. You guys didn't trust me last time, but do not look this up. I'm only talking about this one because it's on the list. Make sure to like and follow for tier 5 tomorrow because tomorrow is where it gets real.
Those tier lists, man. Where they say they found us some info where it has the UFOs and stuff like that. I don't know if I should check that out or not, but it's kind of crazy how all those sites that was on there. He said there was some more that even got banned, so we don't know where those was gonna lead to. You guys gonna check out those site seekers? Found out some info? I don't know. He said he did. I guess you gotta be careful going on those sites. You're going down a dangerous rabbit hole. Giants?
The sword you showed was the sword of Wallace. And as the name suggests, it belonged to William Wallace, a Scottish knight from the 13th century. The length of the sword is 5'4", suggesting either that William himself was over 6'5", or the sword was not meant to be used on horseback, but rather on foot against cavalries, or it simply wasn't actually his sword. As for those giant remains, I don't think I need to explain this, but it's Photoshop. The creator of this image is called Ms. Presto or something like that online, so you can find more of their work.
He's debunking those joints
I
for
didn't
us.
ask for this, so I think that it's time to show who I am now.
December 23rd, 2022, one day before her birthday, 22-year-old Jacqueline Durand was approaching the house she had been hired to dog sit at when she wasn't taking classes at the University of Texas in Dallas. A sign the homeowners had above the entrance would give an ominous warning, one that would go unnoticed. And so Jacqueline walked right into what would become a living nightmare. Immediately after entering the front glass door, and before she could even close the actual second front door, the two dogs in the home, a German Shepherd named Lucy and a Pit Bull named Bender, rushed directly towards Jacqueline, violently bringing her down to the ground, causing her to drop her cell phone, and then dragged her from the front door all the way into the kitchen. At this point, the two large dogs pinned her down and mauled her face, ripping off her ears, nose, cheeks, and lips to the bone. These dogs were actually so violent and bloodthirsty that they ripped apart and tore off all the articles of clothing that Jacqueline was wearing. Now, fortunately, because Jacqueline was not able to actually close that second front door, it triggered a home security alarm. And so eventually, local police showed up to the property, as seen in this footage.
I see her feet right there. First responder body camera video shows the two dogs who attacked her, holding the police at bay.
Once police made their way inside, Jacqueline was ultimately rushed to a nearby hospital and underwent multiple operations. The first one, which was an emergency surgery, lasted 7 hours, and she had to be resuscitated on the operation table multiple times. Now, the couple that owned these two dogs, Ashley Joe Bishop and Avery Bishop, offered no help and no financial assistance to her whatsoever. Since this incident, Jacqueline acquired a lawyer, and this couple has been served a lawsuit. Also, the two dogs involved in this attack were ultimately ordered by a judge to be euthanized. Jacqueline says to the public she does not want to be seen as a victim and only an example to other dog owners to know your dogs, take more precaution, and just be careful.
Okay, so I've been...
Man, that case is chilling. Like, they were freaking like you said, those dogs were freaking bloodthirsty, man. And I don't know what the heck they were training those dogs to do or something like that, but that's crazy that those dogs were acting like that, man. Look what happened. Man. Bones in the case.
Been on an Alexi Treviso kick lately because her trial is on August 26th, which is pretty much right around the corner, so we got to get her trending again. Before I go further, I want to say that if you're not seeing my face in this video, you're not watching it from my page. Unfortunately, there are a lot of fake accounts that have been stealing my audio and putting it with their own videos. So anyway, let's get into it. This Facebook belongs to Rosa Rodriguez, who is Alexi's mother. She posted on April 10th of this year, balloon released for my beloved baby Alex with a peace dove. And it looks like that balloon there is also in the shape of a dove. Now, just like with everything else regarding this family, I don't understand this at all. Like, Rosa, your beloved grandson, baby Alex, would most likely still be alive if your daughter hadn't put him in a trash can and not asked a single person for help. Or you. The couple times you were outside that bathroom door checking on her, she easily could have said, "Hey, Mom, I'm in here having a baby. Can you come help me because I don't know what to do?" She literally tried to hide him from everybody, including you. And yes, there have been inconsistencies from the hospital staff in their statements, but the fact still remains that she went into the bathroom alone, she birthed the baby alone by her own choice, and she didn't ask a single person for help. She didn't pull that cord, she didn't ask you, nobody. And then she came out of that bathroom and didn't say a single word about it. And there's a good chance that had she asked for help, he might still be alive, and he'd be about 1.5 years old, running around your yard, blowing bubbles, and doing all the fun things that little toddlers do. But hey, y'all continue to support Alexi while acting heartbroken over the loss of your beloved baby Alex, because that makes sense.
Did you see this guy who went missing for filming a TikTok of this like mountain, and in the distance on top of the mountain you see this giant, like this huge creature walking on top of it? This is a real story. Yeah, it's real.
What?
So in this video, this guy named Luke Nichols was actually just driving on the road, and in the distance he sees this giant creature walking on top of the mountain. Like, it's huge, you could tell. And after he caught the giant, he went back 3 days later to the same location to see if he was there, and the giant was gone, showing that it was actually real, and it wasn't like some kind of structure or like a tree. There was actually someone there.
So whatever this is, it must have moved.
Yeah, and what's really scary is that people that live in the town have also said they've seen the giant, and they actually found in some caves in the area these drawings of the giant.
There's drawings?
Yeah, so Luke Nichols started trying to find this giant, and when he went back to the area, he saw a UFO in the sky, and he started filming it. But when he wanted to get closer to the UFO, all of a sudden this car started following him, and then he started making videos about how the CIA is trying to follow him. And
what?
Yeah, so he found something. That either he wasn't supposed to see, he was just making it up. I don't know.
Dude, that's scary.
Believe that? You say you saw something and the CIA was following him? That wouldn't be the first time we heard something like that. So we gotta keep an open mind.
Scary Videos Part 9. Friends start playing with a Ouija board when all of a sudden this happens.
Oh my god! It's hard! Are you okay?
Did this man sell his soul to become a magician?
What the fuck?
Can you see the shadow? The shadow of your hands? Of my hands? Can you see the shadow? Look at that juicy chicken. A man's finger gets pulled back by something while he's holding a cat.
This video from March 2016 exposes
Magic?
Diddy beating up his ex-girlfriend Cassie, and after it became public, he's now apologizing.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, going to rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
This video shows Cassie trying to leave a hotel room they were staying at in LA after Diddy punched her in the face, giving her a black eye. When Cassie was almost at the elevator, Diddy noticed and went after her and attacked her. And let's not forget that before this video became public, Cassie and a few other women accused Diddy of abuse, but he denied everything and said that these women were only looking to get paid out. Now, the crazy part about this is that despite having this video as evidence, at this point, Diddy cannot be charged with any of this. The DA explained that their hands are tied due to the statute of limitations, meaning that since this attack happened in 2016, that was a long time ago, and legally, they can't prosecute Diddy. The infamous...
That Diddy and Cassie case that's going on right now. Well, yeah, that's going on with Diddy is crazy, man. Like, the evidence came out 4K. I remember when Cassie and them came out, how people At first, you know, they wanted hard evidence to come out. Now that it's out, man, it was a domino effect. LeBron James unfollowed him. Steph Curry unfollowed him. It seemed like all the higher ups, man, I guess they like staying away from him now because he got caught, man. The evidence is in hand. People weren't believing Cassie, but now they did. But now they are. Goes to show you, man. And there's more stories that's like about Diddy coming out. I don't know what's gonna happen.
The girl in the box case has a scary new update. She was kidnapped and left in a box for 7 years, and the man responsible could be getting out of prison very shortly. It was the 1970s. 20-year-old Colleen Stan was planning on going from Oregon to California to attend a friend's birthday party, but that day her car didn't start. So she decided to hitchhike, which was a lot more common then than it is today in 2024. It was a long trip, but she hitched a ride from multiple cars and everything went smoothly and it took her as far as they were going. Then a car full of rowdy young men pulled up next to Colleen and offered her a ride, and she just kind of got bad vibes and declined the ride. In the next car to pull up and offer Colleen a ride was a family, a young married couple and their little baby. What could be safer than that? So Colleen accepted and got in their car, and it would be a terrible mistake. Because that married couple was Cameron and Janice, and they had an agreement that Cameron could abduct and keep a young girl. Cameron kept Colleen in a box for years, only letting her out to cook or clean or be SA'd by him or be hurt. Pretty much just to fulfill all of Cameron's sick desires. Cameron was actually able to convince Colleen that a huge underground organization called The Company was behind all of this, and if she ever tried to leave, her and her family would get hurt, and that Colleen was essentially his property now. He had her completely brainwashed. Eventually, he even let Colleen call her family and took her to visit them, pretending to be her fiance. He would let her go jogging, work at a hotel, because he knew that he had complete control over her. And the wife, Janice, was already pretty jealous about how much time her husband was spending with Colleen. So when Cameron came to her and said, "Hey, I want to abduct more girls and keep more girls," Janice had enough. Janice went to Colleen and told her that the stuff about the company was a total lie and actually let her escape after 7 years in captivity. And then she turned her husband in. This really pisses me off, but let me know your opinion. Investigators never charged Janice with anything because they saw her as a victim of Cameron's as well. But Cameron was found guilty and sentenced to 104 years in prison. But he's recently been fighting for his release. And in August of this year, so just a few months, he has a hearing. He's going to sit in front of a jury and try to show them that he's not a threat to society anymore. And if he does it successfully, he will be getting out of prison very, very shortly.
I don't know, man. That sounds like a dangerous man. I don't know if they should even try to let him out. The fact that the wife ain't getting no charges because she, I guess, got jealous. That's what made her step up and decide to stop that. Crazy ass case. If you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're truth seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, man. Follow me on my social medias, man, so we can stay connected as a community. I really appreciate the support, man. We're doing these daily uploads. Hopefully you guys, man, enjoy them. I know I enjoy making these videos, man, just trying to get the truth out there. You guys gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.